Right, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to Off the Court with me, Winston Mavoro, a basketball show specifically dedicated to discuss all things basketball on and off the court. Remember, we have a mantra on this particular show, and we always say that basketball is more than just a sport. And on that account, we do live by that particular mantra and we discuss all things basketball. And this evening, we are looking at a topic that is very, very interesting to the majority of basketball fans, players, and those that are generally involved with the game. Now, what we're talking about this evening is the game of basketball within the perspective of important stakeholders. Now, I'm calling these important stakeholders because without this bunch, when it comes to basketball, obviously the game cannot be the same. Talking about referees, and this evening we are going to be looking at the role that referees play in development of the sport. Remember, this platform seeks to discuss basketball, to explore means and ways of growing Zambian basketball, providing updates both local, on the continent, and on the global stage at large. But this evening, we'll be looking at the role of referees from a context of Zambia. Joining me is Truston. I always call him Trust, so forgive me. I'll always be calling him Trust. So Truston Bota is joining me. He's a referee from within Lusaka, and he will be a part of the conversation this evening. And of course, I've got Sunday Mulenga, who is joining me all the way from the Copper Belt. And I've got Nicholas Mvula, a man whom I have so much history with. He's joining us all the way from the Republic of Ireland, Europe. Now, this is just to demonstrate the importance, ladies and gentlemen, of this conversation. We had to fetch a gentleman all the way from Ireland and bring him to be part of this conversation. So now, another interesting gentleman that I have with me this evening is Mr. Eric. Now, Mr. Eric, you have to forgive me. You know your surname and my Shona tongue. A little bit challenging.
Yeah.
Okay. So later on, we'll be joined by a gentleman from Eastern Province. He is the coordinator of the referees in that particular region, and his name is Floyd, and he will be joining us. So Mr. Sunday comes from the Copper Belt. Nico is all the way from Ireland. Truston is from Lusaka, and deliberately we have created this panel for the sole purpose of getting a comprehensive outlook of this particular topic that we're looking at, instead of just looking at Lusaka or Copper Belt or maybe Southern Province, but at least we can have different perspectives just to be able to gain an understanding. And as per tradition, ladies and gentlemen, you are at liberty to comment what you think or where you're watching us from, and most importantly, the contribution that you may have for these gentlemen that are joining us this evening. As I earlier indicated, referees play a crucial role in the administration of the game of basketball. And I can already see Ndenge has joined us already. Good evening. That is Ndenge greeting you, gents. So Ndenge, we welcome you. But as I was saying, referees play a crucial role in the administration of the game of basketball, which goes beyond just ensuring that people adhere to the rules on the court, that people, follow the basketball etiquette or discipline. Referees are crucial constituents when we talk about the game of basketball. Hence, this evening, we will be looking at many aspects to do with the game. And of course, wherever you're watching us from, let us know if you have a question for this gentleman. Please shoot. But I must mention from the onset, we're not here to attack people's character or assassinate people's characters. We want this conversation to be progressive, to be candid, to be honest, and to be building at the end of the day. So, I will start as we get to discuss. I will start, first of all, with uh, the gentleman who is from, I've got two gentlemen here, Nico and Mr. Eric. Mr. Eric, I know you know, but maybe Nico may not know. So, positive news happened within this. And now here, I don't know if it's coincidence, gentlemen, or if these people knew that we were going to have this show, so Trust and Sunday, and the rest of the people from the Federation decided to put a first one on us. But congratulations to you, Trust, and congratulations to you, Sunday, for the appointment to be part of the interim committee for the Zambia Basketball National Referee Association. So on that account, let me start with you. First of all, Mr. Vice Chairman. You know, we have to follow rank, eh? I can't start with you, Trust, who is the secretary. The chairman will penalize us. So let me pick on the referee. Let me pick on the vice chair. Mr. Vice Chair, Bwana Mulenga.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations, yes, sir, once again. And we want to first of all understand what should people on the Copper Belt, people in Lusaka, people in Southern Province, and of course people in Ireland that Nico is bringing on this platform expect from your leadership after this appointment into the National Committee?
All right, sir. Thanks very much, and good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you, sir. When people put you in the office, that means they have trust in you, and they believe that you are going to deliver. This office, it's not for one man's show. If it comes for one man's show, or in short, if you come too bossy, if you cannot listen to people, that means you can't do anything, and you are going to fail to work with people. So, what are people going to expect from me? I'm going to work with them, and I'm going to hear from each and every corner. And we don't. This time, I think we basketball officiating, it has always been for Copper Belt and Lusaka. So for those people who has appointed me to be in the office, I'll work with them so that this game of officiating, it can be in each and every corner, especially Southern Province, Eastern, Northwestern. All those people, they are too much behind. But for me coming in the office, I promise them that they are going to receive a lot of good things from my office. Thanks very much, sir.
Okay, those are interesting remarks there from Mr. Mulenga, who is the Vice Chairman of the National Referee Association Interim Committee. And you've heard it, all of you that are watching us and those that are yet to join, that we should expect nothing but good things. So we know that refereeing is in good hands. And let me get this out of the way. So allow me to go to the secretary, okay? And this is Mr. Bota, who has also been co-opted into this particular committee. Mr. Secretary, what should the basketball fraternity that is watching us right now from within Zambia and beyond the Zambian borders expect from your leadership, sir?
Thank you very much, and I'm humbled and privileged to be put in this position as the secretary for the federation with the referees, and it's gratifying to just know that people out there have confidence in the young guys around me and Sunday in particular to spearhead and ensure that we work towards improvement of basketball among us officials. So what people expect from us as a youthful guys is obviously what we've been crying out for, to bridge the gap between regions, or should I say zones of basketball, where we have got the Copper Belt, Midlands, Southern, Eastern, Northern, and so on. So with us being put in place as the interim committee, hopefully will be confirmed and be voted in, so that we put everything in place and start working, so that there's collaboration among us, the office bearers, and just even from the grassroots of officials, starting from school, basketball, college, even the leagues. So we expect to work hand in hand with everybody, and we are looking so forward to coordinate with the people across the country. Basketball shouldn't be about Midlands, shouldn't be about Copper Belt, but everybody is a stakeholder, especially for us as referees. We're looking at expanding the horizon for other people to participate and be recognized as officials and also contribute to the game of basketball as officials. So it's a positive move, and look forward to working with the people, not just here in Lusaka, Kobe, but everybody across the country, so that we can bridge and improve the game of basketball. So very much excited to work with everybody around and to see how we can better the game of basketball as officials. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So we've got quite a lot of people that are watching us this evening. We've got people that are watching us all the way from France. So Europe is not playing around. Europe is locked in. And I want Nico not to feel alone here. You've got friends that are within Europe that are here to back you up, that are watching us live here. We've got guys that are joining us all the way from the Copper Belt, Chamboli, Kitwe, Solwezi. So you are all welcome to take part and participate in this conversation. Now, let me kickstart the ball rolling. There's one gentleman that I have not welcomed, and that is Mr. Floyd Kalindi. I did welcome you in your absentia, sir, but just for the sake of justice, I welcome you once again. But Nico, let me come to you. Nico, you've had the opportunity to ref in Zambia and also ref in a different country, and particularly Ireland. And that is where you are currently working from. And the other thing that we note is that you have also had the privilege, Nico, to be able to
Oh God. Mr. Moderator, sir. Hello.
Is it my network or?
I think there's a problem with the network.
Yeah, I think the host has got a challenge with the network, so just wait on for him to connect back. Yeah.
Sorry.
Mr. Trust, good to see you. It's been a while.
Yeah, good evening. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a minute.
Too long, brother, too long.
Yeah, how are things?
We're pushing. Imagine I'm still in the office this hour.
Yeah. Man's gonna work.
I think someone is being paid overtime to be in the office this time.
Government pays overtime. Government then pays overtime.
Oh, I thought you were working in the private sector for you to be in the office this time.
Hey, no, I'm still with government, still stuck with our so what it is. But we're surviving. It brings the bread to the table, so we appreciate the little things in life, eh?
That's true. Yeah, you have to.
So it buys everything, keeps us going. So we're doing okay.
People from France are trying to attack me.
Oh, the man is back.
Okay, so is everybody able to hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Loud and clear.
They had left us.
Okay, wonderful. So I was saying there are two things probably that led to my brief disappearance there. You know, they always say witchcraft from the east is very dangerous. So, Mr. Kalindi, slow down your witchcraft, sir, there. And Nico from Europe, your hackers are trying to disable this program.
I knew that was mine already. You just said it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't get
Alright,
your
so,
question because you broke. Yeah.
I was on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me just get to it, Nico. So basically, what I was saying is, we would like you to give us a sneak peek in terms of building on the development that has just happened within our basketball fraternity, where Zambia, and we heard from Sunday, we heard from Trust what they're planning to do to be able to improve the sport. So from you, we just wanted to find out, Nico, what exactly is like the leadership structure like in Ireland, where you referee, in comparison to Zambia?
Oh, thank you very much for having me, Mr. Moderator, and good evening to everyone. I'm glad that I'm able to have a chat with the refereeing fraternity from Zambia, and indeed the basketball family as well. I am glad to hear that there's an interim committee now that has been put in place to try and put the referees' house together. It's been a long time, and I think this is a right move in the right direction. I'd like to urge the two gentlemen, the secretary and the vice chairperson, that now is the time for you to show what you're worth. You have to put in the work. Don't just talk the talk. You have to walk it. So, an interim committee, well, this has been long overdue. What we have here in the Republic of Ireland is a well-structured refereeing body. So I'll start from the grassroots. Like the way you have districts and provinces, Ireland is divided into counties and provinces. So, and then we have areas of responsibilities as referees. So I personally, I live in the middle of the Republic, which is the Midlands, and there's the Midlands Referees Association, just for the Midlands. The Midlands Association affiliates to the National Association. So there's a mother body, and the mother body of referees is part and parcel of the Basketball Ireland organization. So without referees, the game of basketball would not go anywhere. So all in all, referees are cardinal in the development of the sport. So I think for the Zambian setup, it's been long overdue because mainly basketball has been predominant in the Copper Belt and in the Midlands, that's Lusaka, and parts of Southern Province. But because the association could be, due to limited resources, has not spread out, I personally feel like all these referees should come from across the country. If you have games in Southern Province, for example, you should have referees in that region who can referee games in Southern Province. If you have referees in the Western Province, you should have those registered under the Western Province area board, and they affiliate to the mother body. And that's the key thing that you would love to have in a setup like Zambia. So we haven't had that for a long time. And when you look at the way the numbers are between the referees and the clubs, the ratio is just, I don't know, like, because you have fewer referees and many clubs. So with that in mind, you get to have the same referees refereeing the same team. So it becomes easy for referees to get entangled into other vices that don't need to be entangled in. So basically the structures you've started and you have to go out. Your task now as the interim committee is recruitment. What is your plan in terms of recruitment of new referees? Because I've been in Ireland since 2010, and I come home every 2 years, and it's a sad sight to see the same referees I left back in the day still refereeing up to now. And you don't see anyone following through, apart from a few young lads who I think started from the YBL, Youth Basketball League, and have slowly integrated into mainstream basketball. But there's no continuation with that. We don't have female referees. I've only seen one lady, I think it was 2 weeks ago, she was reffing a game, and you wonder, where are the ladies who want to referee this game? Is it because the association is not recruiting, or the referees that are there are not encouraging the ladies to come on board? So we still have a long way, and we're not trying to bring down anybody. What we're trying to do here is try and build each other. And I feel the best thing to do right now is to work on the youth, the young ones, who are going to take over from the already existing referees who have been there for quite some time. Yeah. Mr. Moderator.
Okay, that was quite an interesting point that you raised there, Nicholas, talking about the issue of progression, and of course, I'll give chance to the vice later on, if at all that is something that they're considering. Trust, also, I would like you to come in on what Nico raised, the plans of recruiting new referees so that you could have many referees, and also the issue of gender, which we'll get to later on. But let's get to Mr. Floyd before he bewitches me again with the issue of network here. I have to be very careful when you're dealing with a gentleman from the East, eh? Mr. Floyd, what refereeing is like?
Okay, I'll start with comments over Nico's.
So just give us a picture of what refereeing is like in Eastern Province. We've heard perspective from Ireland, but let's just get to hear, what is refereeing like in Eastern Province as we speak, for those that may not have the opportunity to be able to know what exactly is going on over there. What are some of the challenges? What are some of the progresses?
Okay, so I'll comment about Nico's presentation a bit later.
Fine.
The few challenges we have, of course, it's a new league, and most people have not had that much exposure yet. They don't know the rules. They're playing with rules we're talking about from 2005. Okay, so we're talking about people who we argue a lot. To be honest, you have to really explain what the rules are like. You have to explain the fouls. Every issue is a talking issue. This is why we fail to compete as a province, because when you tell them the rules are different in NBA compared to EBA, because people want to play that they're a bit more rough, a bit more aggressive here. They used to have that no blood, no foul situation before we brought up the league here. So we find that when you've got someone like Trust come over to Eastern Province here, if there is a game, they say Lusaka people don't like us. But no, they don't like, not they don't like you. Those are the rules we have now. Most of them ended up fouling out and the like, but in actual sense, it's not that they don't like the people. No, it's the rules. People don't want to learn the rules. So we have that challenge as a province, and that's the biggest issue we have. It's a new situation. We're trying to get there. We're trying to educate people. Tell them, no, there's this thing called being fouled out. You're going to leave the game. There's some things you cannot say to a ref. There's some things you cannot do to an opponent. So you constantly have to keep explaining and explaining and explaining. But like I said, we've been in Islam for about 2 years, 3 years now. We're pushing 3 years now. So we're learning. People are learning, so they've not really been exposed. Many of the likes of the Nelson Mahangos who played for Denver, Justin Amanz who played for Denver as well, James Amanz who played for CBU Comets, and the number is quite minimal. Those who have had the exposure of Copperbelt basketball and Midlands basketball, soccer basketball. I played for Buffalo. So what the number that is exposed, that knows the rules and how it goes and how you react to some of these calls is quite minimal. Those are our biggest challenges as referees, and how to get these guys in order and say, look, gentlemen, this is how these things work. We need to learn these rules for us to exist in this situation. For us to be part of the national Zambia Basketball Association, for us to be there to survive, we need to learn some of these two things. We need to balance up and know what to do. So that's the challenge we have, honestly, as officials here. Biggest challenge we have is people wanting learning and they trusting us, saying we're not lying to them. This is what happens. But when you have people like from Lusaka at Buffalo's last year in October, we're still inviting teams in October this year again. But then when we bring officials from that side, I think what Trust was there last time, if I'm not mistaken. If it wasn't Billy, if not Pecos, but then we had these three, these are three major names when it comes to refereeing in Zambian basketball. Well, these guys, they will not argue with those guys. But since they have grown up with some of us, some grown up with some people who we put as referees here, they tend to be a challenge. You try and explain, look, that was a good call. You did for that person, but then someone want to bring up issues. So those are our biggest challenges for us as EBA as a start. Back to the host.
Okay, so you've spoken about some of the challenges, which include not being very familiar and also bringing to the fore the need for ample training. Before I let you go briefly, what are some of the progress, that you can speak of that you've made so far?
Okay. So for now, what I did, like we talk of gender balance, my lead official, my table official, is actually two ladies. I did that on purpose. I wanted balance. Then I make sure every time I tell them, look, if you approach her, you talk to her, any wrong thing you tell her, we are going to be on you and we'll suspend you for a couple of games. I've taken the part to be part of every team. Either I'm coaching Sonics, I'm coaching Raptors, I'm playing for what, I'm doing what. I want to be part of every team so that there's no biasness. Each team is my team. That way I'm non-partisan, and that way when we make a decision, no one can say it's a bad decision. And we're trying to teach these other refs and say, look, when even we're playing a game, when there's a mistake, of course I'll not call it out in front of people. I'll drag the ref to say, look, that one you made a mistake. That type of situation. So we're just trying, we're learning. And people are learning, we're teaching every weekend. Every time I'm available, I'm free at work. I make sure I make it my priority to be that side, to make sure that I teach one or two things, especially to my referees. And I try to tell them the power of the whistle. Say, look, if you're whistling a game, you're officiating a game, let people know what you need to be done. Let them know what is wrong, what is wrong. And you help each other. And you talk things out. There's no need to get emotional, because of what this is whereby people get emotional over games. Okay, someone will shout at you and say, look, you hate me. No, I don't hate you. What you did, you messed up there. We don't do that. So you try and calm the refs down and say, look, it's going to be aggressive. It's going to be wild. People talk nonsense. We know that from soccer and basketball. Trust can conquer on that one. So you just simply, you have to keep refereeing is a hard situation.
Okay.
You have to keep your emotions together. You can't lose your temper. If you lose your temper, you lose everything. You lose the entire game.
Okay. So Floyd, we'll get to obviously some of the personal challenges and obstacles that you as referees, do get to experience. But let me get a perspective from Southern Province. And Eric is with us this evening. So Eric, just give us a perspective from Southern Province. Exactly is reffing like, in Southern Province? I know you've got quite some active teams that are taking part, some even in the Midlands Basketball Association, making a name for themselves, and they've been doing so for a long time. So just bring us up to speed. What is refereeing like in Southern Province?
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Sorry. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. It's my first time doing this, so I'm a bit nervous anyway. Yeah. So
You and me both,
Okay.
yeah. So refereeing in Southern Province, I would say it's quite challenging in a way that mostly we have to get like some coaches, some players to help us out to do the officiatings. Then it gets even worse when maybe the coach or maybe a player makes a call, then maybe the player, yeah. So when the player more like thinks maybe that's a wrong call, it becomes more worse because it won't be given the respect it's supposed to be given, because they know that he's not certified to be a ref or qualified. He's just helping out. Yeah, that's more like it.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Eric over there, for giving us that perspective. I know Copperbelt is not a strange place as per se, but it would be fair just to also understand year in, year out, we know that championship games are held between Lusaka and Copperbelt, Eastern Province, Southern Province. I believe you guys do participate in the B League. So let me get to hear from the vice chairman, and in this case, we're talking to him as a referee. Mr. Mulenga, just bring us up to speed. When we talk about refereeing, we've heard the experience from Eastern Province, we've heard the experience from Island, we've heard the experience from Southern Province. From the Copperbelt, can you say that refereeing has made some progress?
Thanks very much, and good evening once more. Here in Copperbelt, officiating it's not that bad, but we still have we still have so many areas to work on because of the coaches and some players, or in general, just the coaches and players. Most of them, they don't understand the rules of basketball, so they are giving us a tough time. In short, when you make a call, you need to explain to them. So when you call and the coach doesn't understand and the player does not understand, it's becoming a challenge for us here in Copperbelt. But all in all, we are trying to get there and to work together with coaches and players so that whenever we step on the court or we make the call, they understand. So there's just a small areas we need to work on. Thanks very much.
Okay. Now, you've mentioned something very interesting. You've talked about the issue of coaches giving you a tough time. And so far, what I've picked also from Floyd is the fact that, there are always these running battles between players and coaches not understanding cause. Let me bring in Nico. Nicholas, is that the case in Ireland? Or maybe you can just bring up to speed. If not, how can then this be addressed in Zambia to ensure that we don't have this kind of scenario where you've got coaches that don't seem to understand, where there's a gap between the referees and the coaches with regards understanding the rules?
Okay. Thanks again. The main issue here is knowledge. So referees have a rules knowledge. Okay, you have the knowledge on the rules of the game, how it's supposed to be played, and how it's supposed to be managed. That's your job. As a referee, your task is to manage the game. Management of a game. So when you are managing a game, you are not there to penalize. Your job is, this is one thing people should understand, that you're not there to penalize people just because you want to penalize them. When you go for a basketball game, anywhere, as a referee, people don't go for basketball games to watch the referee. They go to watch the players. So you have to put that in mind, saying, I am going to referee a game where people are not there to watch me as a referee, but they're there to watch the players play the game. My job is to manage the teams that are playing. Knowledge base of the rules is important. When it comes to the coaches arguing with the referee, you do not argue openly. No, there's a better way of arguing on a call that the referee has made. So that's why there's a channel of communication. And that's why you always have timeouts. You have a halftime break. In every game, you have a lead official, a trail official, the chief crew, all those people. The coaches have to listen to the referees have to listen to the coaches. You have to strike a balance. So I personally, here in Ireland, I have never had an issue with a coach yelling at me or telling me, oh, you made an error there. If I made an error, I will accept that error. It could be at the end of the game or even during the game if I've seen. And that's why you have a 2PO game and 3PO. Okay? And there's a lead ref. If I make a call and another referee or the lead referee doubts that call, you can talk about it. You only have 10 seconds, 15 seconds. You discuss and say, the lead referee can overrule that call, say, oh, it wasn't. And then you agree. He's not stepping on your toes, but he's just trying to manage the game. That's a situation that we have to try and incorporate in our games back home.
Now, Nico, let me just come in on that one. You've explained the roles of the referee, the chief referee, the umpire, and everybody else, and the lead referee can overturn a call. Now, here I'm not trying to hit at Trust or anybody else or Sunday, whom I've seen referee or yourself, but I've seen a situation where clearly one referee makes a wrong call, okay? Yeah. And the lead referee probably on that team sees that it's a wrong call, the friend, without really overturning that call. And at the end of the day, the team the team to which that score disadvantage ends up losing the game. What are your thoughts? Don't you think that's unfair? Don't you think like we're not really promoting the growth of the sport? We're not really helping the game to be played as it should be. The aspect of fair competition is not there.
Now, Mr. Moderator, this will bring me back to officials, right? And I'm happy that now you have an interim committee that will be looking at officials. We have that system here, and it runs perfectly. It is so smooth. We have a code of conduct. You sign up to the rules that govern the association. Okay, so when you sign up to that, in the sign up, there's even a clause where you have to declare you have any allegiance to any club. You see that? So if you have an allegiance to a club, automatically you won't be refereeing games for that club because you have pledged allegiance. I'm loyal to this club. We don't have such situation. We have referees who are loyal to clubs and they won't referee that game. They'll say it. They'll declare. coming back to the situation that you've given, where a lead rep, the crew chief, the person in charge of the game, sees a play and a referee makes a call, and then he's blown the whistle, and the other referee who's also has a clear view sees, you don't want to disadvantage a team just because of one call. So in the game of basketball, the referee will come up and say, oh, what did you see? Oh, I saw this. Okay, but I saw it from this angle. I had a clear view. Did you have a clear view? Yes. Okay, if you had a clear view, do you think it's a genuine call? If the referee says yes, it was a genuine call, you go with that. If the referee has doubts and says, no, we don't, and maybe, for example, if we look at the 3PO system, 3PO is very clear. You got 6 eyes on 10, boxing in 10 players. And then you might miss something, and the other referee might see it. And then you talk about it. It doesn't take 1 minute. It doesn't take 20 minutes. It just takes seconds. 5, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, you're done. And then you go through the call. Okay, if it was a travel call or it's a violation, it's overturned. That's it. You move on. But the thing is, because there are so few referees, you don't want the other referee doesn't want to step on other people's toes to make them feel bad. But that's not the name of the game. If you made a wrong call, you have to accept it deep down inside that, oh, that was a wrong call. And I think there is space to overrule that call if someone had a clear view. Simple. You move on. Okay? So I feel personally, because we are so always looking at, oh, he's been reffing longer. I'll give an example of Sunday, the vice chairperson. He referees FIBA Africa. He's been around. He knows the criteria. You know, all those things. He's a person, like if he was a referee at a game and he saw something and he was chief crew. We are taught this. We're educated on this. We know we can discuss it as referees. Say, oh, look, this happened, this happened. And oh, what do you think? If 3 referees, 2 agree it was a wrong call, oh, it was a wrong call, genuinely, okay, let's go. Let's move on. You move on. And you can cancel that call. So we are, as referees, we are not there to police a game, to make a team lose. No, our job is to manage. Okay? It's all about game management, making sure things move smoothly according to the rules. Simple.
Now, Nico, I love the fact that you've raised the issue of managing the game and not necessarily controlling the game to determine an outcome of a game. And I think that is something that is very, very important on this platform to be able to pick. Managing the game and not controlling it to determine the outcome of a game. So in our comment section, we've got quite some active hands there. We've got Neonani Nambela, who is, responding, telling Ref Eric, train more referees. So Eric, to train more referees in Southern Province. Yes, things are building, but there's an advice here. Now, Bonaventure says something very interesting. He says the problem is that referees, some of the rules that are being overlooked, some FIBA rules are being overlooked. And according to Bonaventure, when we go out as a country, say at national team level, club level, we struggle to play. Why? Because some of these rules are being overlooked. This is something that we are going to speak to, gentlemen, but let me accommodate Trust has raised something very, very important when he was on the floor. He talked about the issue of making sure that as referee, it just doesn't come in a vacuum. Integrity involves a whole lot of things. And among the important things, that there's nothing wrong with the referee supporting a team, but you cannot be the person reffing when that team is playing, that you played for, that we know you affiliate to, that we know is your team. Trust. In Lusaka, do referees declare to say, me, I'm for Magic. Me, like Floyd, I'm Buffaloes, so I will not referee Buffalo game. Do we have that situation currently in Lusaka?
Hello? Your line is breaking, but I think I got the point that you raised about it all comes to what Nico said, and it's about integrity of the referee and also the aspect of declared interest in the games they are managing. I personally would, even on this platform, I'll definitely say that if anything, a few or more people know that I am from the Academy of NAPSA. So I've declared interest in officiating NAPSA games, and that's why you find that whenever NAPSA is playing, I'll never officiate NAPSA games. Not because I cannot officiate NAPSA games, but because it's of the interest that I've declared to say, this is where I'm coming from. The background is I came from the Academy of NAPSA. From YB, I went to the junior NAPSA team, and so on. Even through the ranks of basketball, I was given an opportunity to coach and develop the young players from NAPSA in regard not just from the playing aspect, but also from the officiating aspect, so that I share the information that I know that I've gained from officiating to the guys that are playing now from the junior team, and also at times I even have the opportunity to officiate the practice for the NAPSA team, where I strongly and courageously tell them what is wrong and what is right in officiating. So I've declared interest in that. So even in among officiating, I've that perception of knowing to say this team I will not officiate against, and with my integrity that I think I've built a foundation for myself where I don't look at faces, I don't look at people who's playing. For as long as it's a team that's I haven't declared interest in, I'll officiate the game as it is, and I try by all means to apply the rules. It will be interesting to know that there's a challenge that we have in regard to officiating, where one will have a certain perception about officials to say, no, they belong to this team, they will favor this team, and so on, which is normal. But this is where we need to bridge the gap. Look at the challenge that we have as officials. I'll take, for example, in Midlands, because that's where I'm mostly found, and that's where I do games. We've got few referees that are in the Midlands League that would be new. I would say would be neutral. That don't belong to any team. So if you look at the background, and it brings. Let me take you back to my preamble when I was talking about being appointed as secretary for the National Referees Committee. I said we need capacity building and also to bridge the gap between officials that are coming in and also the officials that are already there, and also between the coaches and the stakeholders in the game, because it is those perceptions that are now making people have a certain perception about referees to say, no, this referee belongs to this team, so he is in his honesty, he will not be fair.
Now, you said something very important.
Yes.
You talked about the issue of, you've talked about something very, very important. You say you personally as a referee, you've declared interest, and me, if it is this team, obviously it's the team that I affiliate to. But as a referee, of course, I'll try to be fair. I'll try to be unbiased. Now, I have seen you ref NAPSA games, I think not so long ago. So why is that then? Is it just to declare and then still go ahead? According to what Nico said, in Ireland, they don't really ref if you affiliate with a certain team. So why have we seen you still ref those games?
Okay. Thank you very
moderator.
much.
Sorry, Mr. Trust, can I come in here?
Yeah.
Mr. Moderator.
Please do.
Mr. Trust has just told us that he has declared interest, right? And you have brought in a question where you have seen him officiate a game of a club that he has declared interest for. The thing here is we have to look at the numbers, and it depends on the game itself. So if Trust has declared interest, quite okay, and then you don't have enough officials to officiate that game, okay, he will come in, but he has to be professional. That's the main thing. It's all about professionalism. If he says, I do not want to bring down my integrity as a referee, so I will blow this game fairly and I will blow it to the best of my ability, considering that I'm affiliated to this club. I will draw the line that I will make all my calls according to the rules and regulations of the rule book and what I see. So I don't feel it is right, like we put him on the spot now for him to say, oh, I refereed that game. We are looking at progression now. We want to see the way forward. So what's the way forward? He has declared interest, fine. If there are questions, that's why we are happy now that there's an interim committee that has come in place. This interim committee, main job now is to look at recruitment so that we don't have that situation happening. Simple.
Can I add on?
So can I answer before I lose my thoughts?
Floyd.
Yes.
Okay, Floyd, I'll allow you to come
Thank
in,
you.
but at least from the comment, we've got somebody who has said they've raised the issue of alcohol and being drug-free. Do we have rules that guide referees in this country? And this will go to everyone here. Okay, in Ireland, obviously, there's a code of conduct. So, Nico, you speak to that later. Floyd, as you come in, add this component to response.
Okay, sure. All right. So,
Can I just before I lose my thought, can I just respond?
Okay.
Sorry, Floyd.
Okay. Should I go?
No, just wait a second. We'll come back to you, Trust. Right now, let us hear from Floyd before he loses his thought.
Yeah. No. It has to do before we digress from the topic, the question which was at hand before the issue, the comment was raised. I think I just want to make clarification.
Okay, I'll be quick. Fine, it's okay.
No, let Mr. Trust clarify. We are okay here. It's a forum. It's a discussion. Let him clarify. That's it.
Okay.
Yes. The clarification I wanted to make is
I am the moderator here. Okay, just a moment.
Okay,
just a moment. I'm the moderator here, so I decide who I give the floor. I decide who I give the floor. Those are the privileges of being the moderator.
Apologies.
So now I'll go back to Floyd. So Floyd, quickly give us your thoughts and add the component of the issue of being drug-free and alcohol-free. And then, Trust, hold on to that thought. I'll come to you. Don't worry, we are here.
So I'll be brief. I've played with Trust before from NABSA. I've played with Trust before as an official. And I can tell you, his integrity that it comes, on my part anyway. He will tell me, I'll make a foul. He will tell me straight up my face, look, you fouled. I'm not going to give you any excuses. You made a foul. I'm going to give you that foul. I don't know about how others have related to him, but I think for integrity-wise, that one I gave him a check. I'll keep it simple. Refereeing a game is not the easiest thing to be honest. It looks simple. People come to watch the players, yes. Well, I've gotten some insults, imagine from the stands. You turn around, you look behind, it's someone you know. But then at that moment, you have to keep your head together, you have to keep your composure. It's not as easy as it seems. I'll give an example of me in Eastern Province, right? Me, I've an attachment to every team in Eastern Province, to be honest. Let me start with Sonics. When I brought Sonics to Lusaka, that was last year. I was coaching them. When I took Sonics to Lusaka, to Lilongwe, Malawi, I was one coaching them. When I came with Magic was playing against the Kawe Warriors. I was a player among Magic. I've coached Raptors, I've sponsored Raptors and their trips and everything. That was me. Okay, and over 5 teams. So The last team is Bucks. Bucks, their coach, Mr. Lungu, shout out to him, is someone I really get along with. But when I make a call, I tell him, no. That guy did that. Sit down. So I've not been disrespected, yes, but we argue here and there. When I'm on the court, it's about I know what I'm doing. They will listen and they'll have to listen. I've rejected the coach before to the stands. Yes, if you talk about Mountains team, I've coached them before as well. Those are 6 teams we have in in Sparta. Bucks from Canada guaranteed, that made 6. But we've got a new team now, Pitauke Pistons. We've got a new team, another team, Lundazi Platinums. Got another team we're trying to make in Nyimba. We're trying to grow the entire district. So for me, I withdrew myself saying, look, I would rather coordinate the programs. I'd rather coordinate the table and put everything together. If I keep on playing, we will not achieve anything, and that's why I stopped playing. I need to make sure everyone comes together. We make this beautiful league. Eventually, I will still come back to the playing table, but then I want to make something. That's why I stepped out from the playing circle. But to manage a team, you have to keep composure. So Trust has been doing a good job. He came to Sparta that time. We had Billy come here, we had Pecos come here. We laughed, we talked here and there. I was on the sideline coaching. Of course, I would poke jokes and say, yo, Matele Keria, you're letting us down. But of course, I knew what he was doing. It was the right call. But of course, as being a coach. So like the key word for an official is to keep your composure. You cannot let your emotions get ahead of you. Some games that are better than you just don't want to accept, but they're better than you accept. That's how it goes. Straight and being forward. Then yes, and again, with like Nico said, you call them. But whenever you feel there's
Okay,
a gap, you call them. And say,
we
"Look."
will come back to you, Floyd.
Yes. I didn't get to
Floyd,
what you
we'll
had me
come
to
back
talk
to you.
about.
Allow me to accommodate Trust before he loses his thought.
All right.
Okay, no, that one I'll give it
All
to you
right.
later on. But right now, let's bring in Trust before he loses his
Sure.
thought. Try on.
Yeah. So before, when you asked the question or you made the suggestion, which I wanted to correct to say, Trust, I've seen you officiate NAPSA games, which is this is the question I want to do. Ever since I started officiating basketball, I can tell you I started officiating basketball in 2013-14. I've never officiated a NAPSA game, and if from the onset, I even declared, even when I was starting, I was just doing the B League, even the B League, I never officiated NAPSA games because by then I was still an active player. But if there's less manpower, I would be asked to officiate until the higher people saw potential in me, and I was made to choose between playing and officiating, which they made sure that I chose officiating because they saw potential in me. So that is the integrity I've upheld ever since I was given the opportunity, ever since people noticed to say I can do a better job in officiating than play. Of course, I used to dunk and so on. So it all triggers down to one's integrity, like Floyd said, and if even Nico has said. It's not that I cannot handle a NAPSA game or any team playing under the umbrella of NAPSA, but it is all about my integrity to say I can make a good decision. You see, there's one thing you should realize about Zambian basketball is that there are people who support for the sake of supporting. There are people that support for the sake of finding a fault in a referee because they belong to a particular grouping, and whatever you do, if their team loses, it will be fire on you. If their team wins, all praises will be on you. Yeah, you guys are the best, and so on. So that is a challenge that we have as officials, and on the part of integrity. And this is where I would like to, me and Sunday has been part of the interim committee. That is the gap we want to bridge amongst ourselves as officials. The integrity of us officials in handling games, and also how we handle not just games, but how we handle our personalities on and off the court, and also how we relate to the stakeholders that are part of the game, coaches, supporters, other people that are just followers, and so on. So conflict of interest, it helps you as an official to do a better job, because the burden will be lessened if you declare on this. I will support, yes, on a given day, NAPS is playing against let's say Magic. I've been in the terraces supporting, but given an opportunity to say I'm officiating this game, I'll do my part as an official, because I'm more putting on a face or a mask of an official to handle a game that I've been tasked to. So I'll apply the necessary and the appropriate rules in ensuring that the game flows smoothly. So that is the point I wanted to come in. So with my part of declaring interest, I've never officiated any NAPSA game ever since I started started officiating basketball.
Interesting take there.
Yeah, real
Yeah,
interesting.
so
Yeah, can I come in as well?
there's somebody who's
on
laughing
that point,
at you just in the comment section here saying, "Oh, okay, yes, I'll give an opportunity. Just allow me to check the comment section a little bit here." So we've got Nambela who's joining us, and she's laughing at the fact that I don't know whether he or she corrected, but you know they're laughing at the fact that Ref Trust used to dunk, you know. So I think that would be the high that your trust can Sunday, you wanted to come in, you can come in briefly so that we can also bring in Eric.
all right, thank you very much, sir. Here in Copperbelt, there was a game which I was given just after a transfer when I moved from the team which I started playing basketball, from the team which was Kwacha Crusaders. Just a week after, I moved from that team to Kankinsa. Right now, it is Police Bree Eagles. Just after a week, I was given that game to blow to my former basketball club. So now people started questioning me, are you going to manage to blow a game from your former club? I said, when I step on the basketball court and when I have a whistle, I don't care who is on the court as long as I'm doing what is right for the game. So when, like, on a trust on issue where maybe some time back you officiated NAPSA game, for me there is no problem, but there will be a problem from those people who are watching and some other coaches, as long as an official you are being professional when you step on the basketball court. It is also happened when I was in Chingola. I was coaching the Sparks. Just when the league started, I moved back to my former team. Then some weeks later, I was given to officiate Sparks games, and people started thinking, no, it's not going to be fair. After the game, I was questioned, how did you manage? I said, when I step on the court, the same way, as long as I'm doing what is right for the game. So people, they might start thinking, oh, you have interest, you have what? No. If you're on the court, you have that whistle. You are there to maintain order and to enforce the rules so that the game can be played fairly. Thanks very much, sir.
Okay, so thank you very much, Sunday, for that perspective on the game. Allow me now to bring on board Eric. Now, Eric would like to get a picture also from Southern Province. Now, with you, Eric, I've seen this, you know, and on this one, I'd like to sympathize with all of you guys because I feel like sometimes, in as much as coaches disrespect you, fans you and do everything, you still keep your cool, you ref the game, and the same fans that insult you are the ones that you still shake hands with and, you know, exchange a few Coca-Colas with. Kudos to you guys for that. I give you massive respect. Now, this one, after Eric, Nico, I want you to come in and say something on this one. Do you have any protection? Do you have any protection of your referees in Southern Province? Because I've seen sometimes coaches would get angry, literally step on the court. There are funds that have to literally be dragged out. So what sort of protection for referees in Southern Province at the moment? Because I know that the situations we see in Lusaka are not only unique to Lusaka, they also happen that side.
Because at times coaches get upset maybe because of the wrong calls made, step on the court, maybe you stop the game for about 5 minutes or less, explaining what has happened. But yeah, we literally don't have any protection. We just we just do it on our own.
You just risk your lives.
Okay, so I can say this. Of late, like
Nico, let me bring you on this one.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so Nico, just tell us, in Ireland, what sort of protection do you guys have as referees? Do you have situations where a coach or a fan can just jump on the court and symbols to your face?
No, not at all. Not at all. There are times when I think we have to look at the levels of basketball now. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give you a scenario. So the way we have NASDAQ, right? We go to NASDAQ to play games. Those are national games, Midlands games. So that's a venue. You need to have a venue officer, okay? So that's what happens here in Ireland. When you go to a gym, there's a venue officer, the person who's in charge of the place. So the visiting team or the host team have a venue officer, and the visiting team will come in. The officials will also come in. Like, we always officiate games. We are told we're supposed to be at the venue an hour before. These are National League games. And the Midlands games, where these are regional games, most of the time you have to be at the venue 30 minutes before the game. So you'll be there and you introduce yourself to the venue officer, and the venue officer will tell you, oh, I'm the venue officer and this is your changing room and everything. So that's okay. When officiating a game and then an incident happens coming from maybe a home spectator, you can identify someone who's a home supporter and an away supporter. So you could be doing your job diligently, and then you get some unruly behavior, someone giving you grief or slurs, insulting you, or just being disrespectful to an official. When there's a dead ball situation or there's a timeout or halftime, you go to the venue officer and you tell the venue officer, well, I'm getting a lot of abuse from that section. And if you identified the person, you even tell the venue officer, there's such and such a person in that corner who is abusing me. And he's giving out every time. Could be insults directed to you as a referee, and you are not feeling comfortable. So the venue officer now has the responsibility to go and talk to that person in that area and tell them that they should desist. If that continues, you as a referee, you want to be protected, you feel not safe, you will go and, you have the powers to stop the game and inform the venue officer that if that man or that lady or whoever it is in that place does not leave the gym, that is if you have identified him. If he does not leave the gym, then this game is going to be forfeited. So now there's interest now that the team wants to finish the game, and then they have someone who's not accommodating the referees, yelling abuse. That person is taken out. if he's a spectator. If he's a team member, if he's on the team, you follow the rules. You give him a technical, double technical, he's ejected. That's where you do things. Now, we are protected 100%, more than protected. So when we go to a venue, we know when I'm reffing a game, if anything happens to me, I am protected. I'm protected by my association that I affiliate to. I'm protected by the establishment, the gym, the venue I'm at, and I'm protected by my colleagues. So everything, all in all, we are safe. But when I look at the situation, oh, okay, I'll end there for now.
Okay, good. Allow me now to bring in Floyd. Now, in the comment section, I love the comment section because people always bring up real stuff. And these are things that we should be able to discuss here for the sake of handling them and being better, and just making the game of basketball improve. Now, there's a situation highlighted in the comment section. I'll not mention names. An incidents of violence I'm meant to understand by the comment that I'm looking at. Floyd, now you've mentioned that in Eastern Province, just like any other region, these things happen if respected officials are threatened. What do you expect the new interim committee to do in the immediate term, Floyd, according to the situation in Eastern Province, to be able to mitigate these things? And of course, you are free to borrow from what Nico said, but in your case, is this something that you are going, it happens, or how do you prevent it as a coordinator in Eastern Province?
Thank you so much, Roberta. Eastern Province is a big thing. It's a work in progress. We're working to get there in the province. It's something new we're trying to do. I remember some time back, 2 years ago, there was so much chaos outside.
Your audio is a bit blurry. Maybe just kindly move closer to the phone a little bit.
Okay, so I'm saying Eastern Province is a work in progress. We're trying to get there as a province. I had to give up my playing privileges just to be part of every team to kill that biasness that Trust brought about. So I'm part of every team. So there's no biasness for my part. Everyone should know and say, I'm just part of the league, me. It's every team is my team. The league is my league. We need to build each other and help each other, build something that we'll appreciate 5 years from now, 10 years from now. The violence part, I can say I've not had any issues with any refs, any coaches or fans talk. Of course, there are fans. What part we have to accept from we grew up with those things from high school. Fans will talk. We don't have the privilege of having a venue coordinator because we won't have one venue. Okay, we won't have one really reliable court in Eastern Province, to be honest. So it means we have one venue. So the venue also we share it with other sports, and it has got a bar of some sort run by the Zambia Army. So we've got people who are going to be constantly there. So you can chase them from the court side, but they'll still be there. One or another, they'll still be around the premises, and then you have to deal with them. But physically, nothing, no one has gone down with any injuries or anything like that. But people talk. But the people we argue with on the court, and they will say stuff to you. When the game is done, you laugh it off and say, look, it's basketball. I was referring, I made the calls that I saw. I made issues that I saw. So we're in a different world right now. Yeah. So if you make a call, for instance, like I told you earlier in our WhatsApp chat, you talk about things like you make a call saying shot clock violation or barcode, like 8 seconds violation. Those are debated because you're counting using your fingers, eh? If you have the ability to say, oh, it was shot on the shot clock. But like I said, we're going league, we're learning. We're still about 3 years in, and People like Salunga from Katete has been amazing. He's pushing things for us. He's helping teams. We are learning. We've got gaps, a lot of gaps. I'll not hide a lot of gaps. We've had interaction. The people argue a lot, but then we're learning. But then it's just about the attitude. We just need to learn. When you got the guys from Lusaka come here play for games, you will not get the same arguments.
Okay, so Floyd,
Attitude. They ask what the previous problem is. Attitude.
just allow me, Floyd, to catch you a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
Let me hear from Rick. Again, in the comment section, we've got an interesting statement here as we prepare to start wrapping up. We've got an interesting statement here about refs drinking with coaches or players, bearing in mind issues of corruption and manipulation of games in favor of the usual players. Eric, tell us, do you have refs in Livingstone that drink with coaches, players, and the big buyers?
That's a hard one. Okay. In most cases, yeah, I can. Yeah, I see some coaches drink after the game. Yes, that I've seen it, but I can't say that big buyers and blah blah, no corruption. I don't take bribes. They know. I don't do that. I mean business when I'm officiating, and I usually tell them, me this I don't do. But a player, maybe a coach, yeah, after the game they can drink, but a player will never drink as that person is playing the game. No. I hope I've answered the question.
Okay, that's an interesting take. Nicholas, let me bring you in real quickly here. Let me bring you in quickly. And very briefly, Nicholas, tell us, you guys have a code of conduct in Ireland. Does your code of conduct in Ireland allow players, for example, after the game is done, assuming there's a provision for a bar, to be able to mingle with the teams or members of both teams that they were just officiating, or even just members of one team that they were officiating? Does your code of conduct allow for that?
I'll be honest with you. The time I have been here, I've been all the time I've been reffing here. I've been reffing for almost 8 years now. And I'll be honest with you. When I go to a venue after the game, players go their own way, referees go their own way. You will chat with one or two, but it's not a chat where you have to sit down, have a long conversation, have a few drinks. No, because I feel doing that is you're being compromised, and we basically are not allowed to do that. Because, for example, if you're reffing a National League game, you're supposed to be at the venue an hour before. You are there with your co-officials or your chief crew and everything. You're isolated. You're on your own. You discuss the game, pre-game, talk what you're going to look at, your criteria, your calls, your areas of responsibility, and everything. When the teams come on the court, you greet the coaches, both ends, you introduce yourself, you shake hands with the players when the game tips off, and when the game is over, you go to your changing room, you change, you dress up, you're gone. You don't have time to sit around and start having drinks and everything. Because, well, you have to get home. You're driving home, and drink driving is not allowed here. So that's the thing. It's all about setting standards. So if you're a referee and you want to be different or exceptional, I know we're looking at the Zambian context. Just draw a line. You can watch a game in the audience, but don't mingle so much with the players. Don't be one of them or discuss calls or whatever. Just do your thing. It's difficult in Zambia to just leave a game and go straight home. You will be definitely enticed to stick around because you want to watch the next game, you want to watch the third game because it's on a weekend. But it's rare here because I think the panel of referees or everywhere is so that we have so many referees. We're still encouraging young ones to join the refereeing fraternity. I for one, this coming weekend on Saturday, I am going for a referee clinic. You see? So I'm going to do a referee clinic on Saturday for young kids between the ages of 16 and 19. And it's a positive. I love what I do, and I'm going to give my all to these kids who want to become referees. I'm going to just introduce them and give them a few tips here and there, and that's it. You move on. So we have a big pool of young ones wanting to referee. You will get the abuse here and there, but you have to be thick-skinned. I always tell myself, you have to be thick-skinned to be a referee, and you have to be calm, cool, and collected. That's it.
Okay, so Nico, allow me to bring on board the chair as we finally draw to the end of our show this evening. Chair, I would like to hear from you. Vice Chair, I would like to hear from you. Nico has given some pointers on the standards that must be set. So, Chair, I would like to know, are we going to see the interim committee come up with standards that, for example, will not allow referees to even call games while it's drunk? I have heard reports recently, like people approached me as a journalist to say, look, we need you to shine the light on this issue. There are referees who are coming drunk for games. So are we going to see standards such as buying of breathalyzers, where you'll be testing referees before they call the game? They get tested with a breathalyzer so that we know they are not drunk, they are not high on drugs. What standards are we going to see, Bwana Chair?
Thanks very much. What I would love to say is, in all provinces, in all corners of the provinces, like, for example, here in Copper Belt, some previous years, yes, we were having those challenges, but we sat down. We have a committee of referees here. We sat down and say, no, this is too much. The referees, the players are complaining too much. No, that referee is smearing beer. So we have come up with a code of conduct. In that code of conduct, it is the one which is going to guide us as referees in such a way that if you break one of those rules, you're going to face consequences. So I know it is a very big challenge, or to change the mindset of someone. But
the mouthpiece.
They change.
The mouthpiece.
Okay. Hello?
Your mouthpiece,
Can
please.
you hear me?
Put it closer to your mouth. Right. I cannot get you. Yeah.
All right. Thanks very, very much. What I was saying is,
thank you.
Each and every province should now come up with the code of conduct. Okay, the code of conduct. Then we are also working on the. In short, we are going to work on the constitution, because if we work on the code of conduct, we should also have the constitution that's going to guide us. Okay, so that when us referees break one of the rules, we are going to be disciplined according to what is going to be in that code of conduct. So I'm sure starting from next season, or I'll just say starting from now, okay, changes. We are going to see changes from each and every corner of the provinces.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Assuring us that we are going to see changes. Now, there's a question from Ndenge here who says, are we going to see a plan, or what is the plan to increase the number of women officiating? And now, earlier on when we started, Nico raised this strongly, and the issue of gender balance was spoken to again on the panel. But let me throw this to our secretary, Mr. Trust. you as the person that will be obviously be the heart of activities for this committee, are we going to see a deliberate move to be able to push for more women to officiate these games? Briefly, Mr. Trust.
Oh, okay, thank you very much. And that's a very big concern, even amongst us referees, because we've got few numbers, and just to be gender sensitive, we have got, like for now, we've got only about 3 or 4 female that are part of the officials that are table officials, not referees, but there's one that is being groomed to be a referee. I think from the games that you've noticed, there's one that is coming up whom we're trying, but we want to increase capacity, and part of the plan that we intend to do. Yeah, okay. The capacity building, I'll not blame it on anyone, but the people that were before us, there was no capacity building for women and young guys to come into officiating, and it's not mainly on them, but it's also the environment that is there, coming from the coaches, the basketball fraternity. So it is difficult for a young man to come and officiate a game, grooming of somebody just to come and officiate a game, because we receive, as much as we supposed to be firm and solid in officiating, there's that hostile environment where, remember I talked about team followers, coaches yelling, and also attacking officials and stuff like that. Just from reading the comments that there's one where somebody has raised an issue of a referee was attacked. They mentioned the second coach. I'm sure from the comments you can tell. Yeah, it's not just that incident, but there's another incident that is pending, and it's being handled by the executive from Midlands. So this is where we need protection, where the environment is made conducive for upcoming referees to officiate, and few will come into officiating. Yes, they might make few or more mistakes, or even us, we make mistakes, but us, we've been there long enough to handle the pressure. But the environment that now is being created is not enabling for upcoming referees to start officiating, because they feel like there's no protection. There are certain just people that are meant to officiate certain games. So in our quest to improve the standards and also to increase capacity, we will look forward to working with the developmental league, the YBO. Like I remember Ellen Capeola organized the referees clinic where she trained more than 15 officials, and the majority were women. So those are people that we would want to work with, so that we create an enabling environment for them to upgrade from officiating from YBL, and we incorporate them into the either B League and also the Super League. So capacity building is one of the things that we would want to look at, so that we have more numbers, so that it's not normal for a referee like me to come as early as 9 hours. I do games starting from 9 hours until the last game. I'm doing 5 straight games. Why? Because there are no numbers. So this is a challenge that we have. I'm sure it's not just here, even in the Copper Belt, even in Eastern Province, where we don't have numbers. So how do we bridge that gap? So this is why I want to do capacity building, where we implore the ZBA to come in and help us with creating clinics, or coming up with trainings that will help us elevate people that have the potential, and also help us find an environment that where people can freely come in to help us increase the number and so on.
Unfortunately, I have to cut. Yeah, and the debate in the comment section still continues, that despite your claim of dunking, people have never seen you dunk. We'll leave that for part 2. We'll leave that for part 2 of this discussion. But as we close, gentlemen, real quick, they want us to close with is accountability. The issue of accountability. I want to start with Floyd. So Floyd, you have to be really brief so that we can close the program. tell us briefly measures that promote accountability that you have in Eastern Province. Remember, a referee is part of the game, but it doesn't mean they're immune to correction or punishment if need be. It's not only the fans that are wrong, coaches that are wrong, referees also are capable of making mistakes. What sort of accountability measures do you have in Eastern Province? And after you, Lloyd, I'll ask to come in.
Okay. For Eastern Province, for start accountability, we make sure we inform the official who's going to fit a game the week before, so that they are prepared for that particular day. They relax for that particular game because refereeing a game is quite stressful. So want them to be calm and they know what they're doing. And of course, we don't have fertilizers per se, but we need to make sure they know that day. We tell him you've got a job that particular day. You need you to be there and you good mind, sober mind to handle those particular games. That's what we do for accountability as it gets us so far. I don't know anything else to add, but of course we just explain to them the gravity of the matter. And when you make 1 or 2, 3 mistakes, you own up to them. You're able to call the captains and just explain it. So okay, I missed that one. We're okay. We're going to control this one going forward. Officials should talk to each other. Refs should talk to each other and say, look, they should like Trust mentioned earlier. You call someone aside and say, you missed that one. We need to do that there. With that 10 seconds, you can overturn a call. It's allowed to overturn a call. So they should know and say, okay, you will be called out when you make a mistake. You call to say, look, come on, step up. You made 3, 4 wrong calls in straightforward. So come on, step up. We have got a game to handle here. If you are the nerves you're having right now, come on, step up. We need you to be better. And going for people watching what you're doing, calm down, keep your composure, let's have a good game. Let's be done with this. Back to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that submission, Floyd. Let me now come to Eric. Eric, what sort of accountability do you have for referees in Southern Province?
On that one, I would say we really don't have, but mostly it happens. We are more like just 2 officials for now in Southern Province. You mentioned in Livingstone, because so far we're just doing maybe a Livingstone basketball league. SBA is not like active for now. So mostly we just do like 4 games, the 2 of us from 9 maybe up to 17. But whenever there is more like a query or whatever, we usually sit it down. We talk to my colleague, look, they're complaining, maybe miss something. Please work on your vision or sight on such. Otherwise, we're trying to do everything like to put them in order. Yeah, we haven't been active for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Eric. Allow me now to go to Bamulengayama. Is there accountability on the Copper Belt for referees? Because I ask this, and I want you to answer as a referee and also as the vice chair with regards to what you're going to do to address this. We've seen referees banning players for misbehaving, but who deals with referees when they misbehave? Are there accountability measures that we can implement? Briefly.
Yeah. Thanks very much. Here in Copper Belt, yes, we have at least we have numbers of officials, but we still have challenges whereby, like for instance, FIBA says you cannot do more than 2 games.
True.
But looking at the numbers we have right now, you will find that one official is doing 3 games in a day, which is that official is overworking. So we are trying by all means to groom those young ones, so that in future, maybe 2-3 years, they're going to have more officials. Then it's very sad for Livingstone basketball to have 2 officials. So this is one of our thing we are going to work on. We're going to try by all means, and those guys from Livingstone, we are promising you that coming next season, we are going to have at least 10 or more than 10 officials, and we are not going to have those challenges of blowing from morning up to evening, sir. Thanks very much, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me now come to my very good friend who claims to dunk, but we have no evidence of the dunk and which year it happened. Okay, so Mr. Trust. So tell us, Mr. Trust.
Okay.
In Lusaka, I do watch games most of the times in Lusaka, and these are the questions that sometimes we've asked. Do we have, assuming Trust, you as a referee made a mistake, what recourse is there? What do we have a channel in Lusaka where, by the way, we have seasoned referees that have traveled extensively? I know he thought you were his name because he's not on the program. So Mweshi, wherever you are, we are definitely going to mention your name here. We've got guys like Mweshi that have been everywhere, that have seen refereeing from A to Z. Do we have some sort of accountability such that if you made a mistake this weekend, Trust, you erred in the previous game? Do we have that in Lusaka?
Thank you very much, and I'll still claim that I used to dunk and I can still dunk now. Nevertheless, I can say the accountability is I can say yes and I can say no, in the sense that yes, we hold each other accountable, in the sense that if there's an error that has occurred and if there's something that is supposed to be discussed amongst us referees during the games. And I'd just like to thank you with your crew for giving us an opportunity to review games, which has been helpful to us. Where, let's say, for example, a game is being played, then we have our own Zoom meeting and chats where we review certain games, and us senior referees were able to remind each other and also our juniors on the certain rules and how the game is supposed to be handled. If case there's any controversial call or anything, we're able to discuss. Then accountability in the sense of punishing or reprimanding referees that do not do or make you cannot have a perfect game, but make good calls that people will talk. It's not there because we have less numbers. So if they say I Trust makes a mistake in officiating or make a bad call, and then I misbehave, I should be suspended maybe for 2 or 3 games. But if they say, for example, I do then I'm suspended, who's going to handle this? People still come back to say, okay, no, but we still need people like Trust to officiate the game, still need people like Mweshi to officiate that game. So this is a challenge that we have, and we want to cut out that disease where the only punishment or reprimand we can do to referees is by just telling and correcting them. But we need to a situation where I, as Trust, when I err a bit, I'm supposed to be given leave to reflect on my behavior or reflect on how I was supposed to away from the game, so that as I come back, it will be easy for me to be a better person or avoid such mistakes. So it's there and it's not there, but we're working on this, and that's why I said that I'm commending for these videos that you're taking, so that we're able to review each and every game that has been played, so that it makes it better. And I'm glad I was in Malawi over the weekend, and there's one senior man from FIBA referee from Zimbabwe. There was a game I officiated, which I made the decision, which was not present according to the rules. So he was able to remind me. So I was like, how do you even know? So he told me, no, there are games that are being streamed, and we're also getting feedback from other people outside Zambia, and it is helping us. And we share notes with other people, so that even as they interact with us, we're also able to communicate with the junior referees.
Okay, thank you very much, Referee Trust over there, for giving us that opinion and for being candid. Nico, I will close with you this evening. And I just wanted to find out on the issue of accountability. I know there's a whole lot that you can say, but I just want you to be as brief as possible so that we can close the program. And I know it's getting late at the moment, so that at least we can just I know we've gone beyond time, but I think this was worth it, and it was important that we have this conversation. Over to
thank
you,
you very much, and it's been a pleasure having this discussion, and I hope we have another one, because I think some issues have been left out and we can still talk about them. On the issue of accountability, I think as a referee, you have to hold yourself accountable to your actions. Everything that you do on a basketball court, you have to reflect on your calls. And I'm glad that we have live streams now. You can go on Facebook, you can go on YouTube, and you will see clips of yourselves refereeing, because people are, the technology that we have now affords us a chance to go and look through and see whether we made mistakes or not. We are held accountable most of the time if we make bad calls. If an assessor or someone watching the game who is a senior referee or the person in charge of referees notices something on a video clip and says, oh, this happened at the game, we get emails and someone will text you, Nicholas, what happened here? Did you have a look at that game? I think it was something that you should look at yourself and reflect on it. And we do that. We help each other as referees, so we hold each other accountable, because we are there to govern the game, not to police it, not to be harsh, but manage it according to the rules. I know rules change every 2 years, and I think as referees, we should be up to date with the current trends, and we educate others to know what's happening, especially the coaches. Coaches should know first-hand information when it comes to the game. We know the rules, they know the game. We have to interpret the rules differently according to what we know and what we are told and how we look at the game. So basically, we hold ourselves accountable, and the governing bodies just look at us and help us. Like, oh, if you make a mistake, do this, do that, and you work on yourself. So basketball is an individual game. It's a team sport, but referees as well work as teams. So we have to put our heads together and try and help each other build the game of basketball back home. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much there, Nico, for giving us that closing remark. And of course, for each and every one of you that decided to take in this conversation, we do appreciate you taking time for coming through. I know it's not easy. You people have got a lot of things to do, but you've sacrificed your time to be able to make sure I hear and just to be able to talk about this beautiful game that we love. Thank you very much to Nicholas, all the way from the Republic of Ireland. Thank you very much, Floyd, from Eastern Province, making time. I know it's not been easy, but you're here. Very much. Eric, equally, thank you very much for coming through. I know it's not been easy, bit of a short notice, but you still sacrificed your time and was here to be able to join us and just to make sure that all of us are here to make time. So thank you very much, Eric. And of course, my very good friend, Trust, we always argue, we always do whatever. I'm also waiting for the clip in which you dunked, but all the same, thank you very much that you came through here. And your humbleness always amazes me, because every time you make those calls, Trust, and after the game, I'm all over your face, challenging you, telling you, no, that was the wrong call. You still accommodate people like me and everybody else in the league and listen. and never get angry. And I wish all of us could be like you and Floyd and Eric and Nicholas and my good friend Mulenga from the Copper Belt equally, whom I just ambushed. In fact, with Mulenga, I didn't even ask him to be part of the program. I just told him, Bakaramba, you are going to be part of the program. I didn't even know that I was going to be hosting a vice chairman of the Referee Association. But thank you very much, Bwana Mulenga, for joining us. And to all of you gentlemen, have a lovely night. And I can promise people right now and commit that we are going to have a part 2 of this discussion. And in the part 2, we are going to have women as well. So I have a challenge to all of you. You're going to have this program. We are going to have women as well. So help me find women that I'll bring here. Okay? So thank you very much to everyone and enjoy the rest of your night. And thank you very much for making time.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching the program this evening off the court. And obviously, this evening we were looking at the important topic of the role that referees play. Of you that were watching live, participating, commenting, and asking your questions. I think it took longer than usual to be able just to accommodate all the views and all the suggestions, that were coming forth, so that we could just have that holistic view at the end of the day, or with regards refereeing and officiating in this country. As I mentioned earlier on, we do not have these discussions to be able to make, but these conversations are ideally and intentionally designed to be progressive, so as to allow development of the sport at the end of the day. So I really, really would like to salute and thank each and every one of you. I cannot mention you by name, all of you: Iliam, ZBA Update, Newsfeed, KK Mwanza, Leonard Johns, Neonani and Timothy. Thank you, each and everyone, for coming through. Those of you that are watching us from Eastern Province, Panji, Levy, and like I said, I can't go through everybody just to mention you by name, but look, I appreciate your support. And to have these programs, always remember to join in, share the stream, and let's keep this conversation going. France joining us, that was awesome. Bonaventure and everybody else, thank you very much for coming through this evening. And from me, Winston Mavoro, and on behalf of my guests, it is good night and see you on the next episode. And remember, you can like my page and please post suggestions on my page of some of the topics that you feel we can discuss on this particular program. So thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your evening.